The old amusement park had been closed for years, but it still stood, abandoned and forgotten. It was a maze of rusted metal, broken rides, and faded signs, a once thriving attraction now shrouded in darkness and decay. One day, a group of teenagers decided to break into the park. They wanted to explore the abandoned rides, take some photos, and maybe even see if they could find anything valuable. They laughed and joked as they hopped the fence and made their way into the park. As they walked through the park, they could feel a strange energy all around them. The rides were still, but there was an eerie feeling of movement, as if something was lurking in the shadows, watching them. They came across the old roller coaster and decided to climb to the top. As they made their way up, they noticed something strange at the bottom of the coaster. It was a figure, huddled in the shadows, watching them with glowing eyes. The teens froze in terror, unsure of what to do. Suddenly, the figure leapt out of the shadows and charged towards them. It was a monster, with gnarled claws and razor-sharp teeth. The teens ran, screaming in terror, as the monster chased after them. They ran through the park, but the monster was always right behind them. It seemed to know the park like the back of its hand, jumping from ride to ride with ease. The teens were out of breath, exhausted and scared, with nowhere to hide. Finally, they made it to the old haunted house ride. They burst through the door and barricaded themselves inside. They could hear the monster outside, scratching at the door, trying to break through. The teens were trapped, and they knew they had to find a way out. They searched the dark, winding hallways of the ride, looking for an escape. They found a door that led to an old maintenance room, where they saw something that made their blood run cold. The room was covered in strange symbols and graffiti, scrawled in blood and other unidentifiable substances. There were strange objects on the shelves and walls, some of which seemed to be alive and pulsing with an otherworldly energy. The teens could hear whispers and chanting coming from the darkness beyond. The monster had followed them into the room, and it was now standing in the doorway, blocking their only exit. The teens tried to run past it, but it was too fast, too powerful. It grabbed them one by one, dragging them into the darkness beyond. Each teen was taken to a different room, where they encountered horrific sights and sounds. Some saw ghosts and ghouls, others faced off against demented clowns and sadistic automatons. There were rooms filled with fire and water, rooms where gravity seemed to be reversed, rooms where the walls and floors moved and shifted at will. But the worst room of all was the one where the monster took its victims to feast. It was a room filled with rotting corpses, bones and guts, blood and gore. The monster would pick its prey apart, savoring each bite, and then leave the remains to rot. One by one, the teens were taken by the monster, until only one was left. She was the bravest of them all, and she refused to give up. She fought the monster with all her strength, dodging its attacks and striking back with anything she could find. Finally, the monster was weakened, and the teens saw her chance. She ran to the exit and smashed the door open with a nearby crowbar. She burst out into the sunlight, gasping for breath and covered in blood.